listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's After Show.
Yes. Sing it, Angel.
Touch for the very first time.
Sing it, yes.
Yes, that was horrible. Yes, Madison. Sing it, girl.
With my heart beat.
Oh, yes.
Next to mine. Well, welcome to MTV Virgin Territory. And this is season 1, episode 1. And I am your host, Madison Chase, your trainer to the stars and the star in you, because I'm also a celebrity trainer, but I'm also your no sex till marriage expert. And yeah, so
yes,
I know, right? I just made that up. No sex till marriage expert, because guess what? I'm a virgin too. Yay! But not really. Okay. So I wanted to bring one of my friends to co-host, because like when I think about couples that I like adore, like I could say, oh yes, I love such and such Viola Davis and her husband, or I love Angela Bassett and her husband. But
sweet.
My real life couple that I like really love to see them together is my co-host, Angel Laketa Moore.
Oh, well, hello, everyone. I am Angel Laketa Moore, actress, host, stand-up comedian, mama, wife, all that good stuff.
Yes.
Excited to be here with you, Madison.
Thanks for having me and
I had you.
me. Yes, you did have me. Well, actually, you didn't have me, but you had a baby for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I love her baby. Okay, but that's a whole other thing. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so we're talking about Virgin Territory, right?
Yes, MTV.
And the MTV show. So first, I want to say thank you, Lauren Dolgan. I hope I'm saying your name right, but I want to say thank you, because you have given a voice to all the virgins in the world, including myself. So the show opens, and the show is about 15 virgins from across the country, right? And I think it's interesting that they chose different parts of the country, because you get to see how people kind of react to being a virgin and how they kind of date and don't date. So the first virgin that we have, we could pull her picture up. Her name is Dominique Sullivan, and you're from Maryland.
Yes,
Angel.
originally. Yes,
So
yes.
she kind of gives us her take. So what did you think about the show overall? We'll start with that.
Well, first, I don't think she really gives a voice to all virgins, because everybody's
her.
between. No. I'm saying the show,
The
because
show, that's
everybody
true.
is between the ages of 18 and 25.
You're right.
So that's a different territory once you either if you're younger or older than that.
No, totally. And that's why I wanted to do the show, because I'm the 30-plus virgin. So, and that's a different struggle.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a
totally.
completely different thing. But what I thought about the show is it's starting off pretty slow. Hopefully I'll get more invested in the people. Dominique, I feel like she is closer to just the average girl who is a virgin, the average
Right.
21-year-old, like
Right.
not staunch and like, oh no, I'm a prude.
Yeah.
Still wanting to flirt, still wanting to date,
Right.
but just not willing to give up the cookies.
Just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there are probably more
Women like her.
than what people would probably know or recognize. I mean, I have girlfriends that are no longer virgins now, but were in their 20s when they lost their virginity. So I don't think that's like too out of the norm per se.
Right. And she kind of quotes "no ringy till the dingy," and she does your favorite, your girl
Yeah.
Beyonce. Thank you for the homage too.
Right.
Yeah, no ringy, no dingy.
Now I don't really think she'll make it to the ringy. That's just me being real.
Really? Why do you say that? Because of the way she dresses? Because I know her grandmother said something about you're looking like a streetwalker.
She said
And
a
I was
$2
like,
hooker. That's what she said.
I mean, I was trying to be nice. The streetwalker is better.
You know what? Because eventually, if you keep playing with fire, you will get burnt.
You will get burnt, and
Yeah, and so unless she plans on finding her husband very soon, I do not foresee. Now, look, more power to you if you can, but I feel like the more you keep playing with it,
it might slip.
It's a lot easier than what people give it credit to.
Right.
To be in that moment and just be like, you know what?
let's
I want to do this.
Yeah, let's just wait a second. Wait a second. It's funny. You know what I think her issue is like she has a broken relationship with her mom, and then she has a broken relationship with her dad. So she's living with her grandmother. So I really feel like that's kind of like the underlying thing. Like she really just needs love. And then when they show her and her mom kind of arguing, I was like, that's really like I felt bad. Like her mama was trying on her clothes. I'm like, why are you trying on your daughter's clothes? I'm confused. Like.
She was in there to be hot.
Yeah.
But what was crazy, though, is that Dominique needs to grow up because her mother...
And she said that, but she was a little too hard, though.
No, she was hard on. But no, when Dominique was like, my parents have been divorced for 6 years. It's too soon.
Yeah,
I was like, get the hell over it,
yeah,
Dominique.
I totally agree with that. I was like, 6 years? Come on. I thought she was going to say 6 months, 6 weeks.
No, she
I was
said
like,
years.
6 years. I was like, really?
I know marriages that don't last that long. And you talking about a divorce being too short for her mother to get remarried.
I agree.
Yeah, their relationship, I don't think the mother is willing to accept any part that she had in and not being in her daughter's life. But I also think she was arguing a point that her daughter wasn't trying to
hear.
To bring up. Like her
Right.
mother was arguing, you don't nobody need to take care of you. You're grown, you're 21.
Right.
But I don't know if that was the point that Dominique was trying to bring up at the table as far as in being there for me is more of a relationship and not support financially or anything like that.
And emotionally, too. Because
Yeah.
I think she was trying to have the conversation like, this is why I'm a virgin, because I'm from a broken home kind of thing. So let's move on. Did we show the picture of Dominique? Because I think she's super cute. I like her. Okay. So the next one is Kyle. Mm-hmm. And
Is it Kyle? Yes.
Dansaru. I hope I'm saying that right.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's a little cutie, but I thought it was interesting because they kind of showed him like working out. And for me, that's me. I'm like, when I get horny, you go to the gym and you pump some iron. Like that's what I do, especially like after 25. I was like, yes, that's when I started doing fitness competitions.
She's like, I'm going to have on muscle everywhere.
Yes, everywhere behind my kneecaps was really strong. So I think that I thought it was interesting that they showed him. So what did you think about Kyle?
Well, I definitely thought Kyle was gay. I was like, oh, look at
Angel, you thought that?
I absolutely thought.
Why
I was
did you?
like, oh, okay. His backstory is he's struggling with his sexuality. That's why he hasn't had sex with nobody because he don't know who he want to have sex with.
No, that's somebody else coming
Jim
in
or
later.
Jamie?
No, it's coming in later episodes. There's someone that's gay and he is.
Okay, well, I thought that he was the one.
Really?
Yes, I thought Kyle was the one. I was like, he just so, I don't, and I'm not saying that you could predict if someone is gay, but I just thought that was going to be his story. And I think his friends did too. When he came out to his friends.
He's like, I have a secret.
Yeah, they were like, we know. We already know. We saw you looking at him. And he was like, I was a virgin. They were like, what?
They're like confused. Like, no.
That's not what you
I
gonna
thought
say.
you liked me. Yeah.
He's such a little goofy little
But I think
silly
that's
little
just
boy.
it though, because I know me when I was a virgin, like I was so like totally like I was like Lisa. Like when I saw Lisa, I was like, oh, that was me. Like I was that prude girl. Like all my friends were virgins. We went to the prom together. Like we were those chicks. So when I saw him, I was like, oh. But I think you don't think that's what it is.
I mean, it could. I mean, obviously he's straight. I mean, that's what he's saying on the show. So I
Yeah.
think he's just a goofy
just
boy.
goofy.
It's just when I initially started to hear his story, I was
agree,
like,
too.
oh, okay. So this guy is either struggling with his sexuality or something. And then when I was like, oh, he likes girls. He likes the girls. I did not see that. Come on, man. He in the gym getting his. It was like a 24-hour fitness in WeHo. I was like, yeah, he getting the muscles for the boys. Get it, Kyle. Get buff. But he was like, no, I like Ashley behind the counter.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
Ashley was not checking for him.
No,
she was not. I was like, she didn't care. Because, like, normally when you see reality shows and you see a camera, you be like, yeah, okay, you cute, even if you're not cute. But she was
She was
like,
like, no.
mm-mm.
No.
She was not having it.
No. Did you see the little chunky girl that he was dancing with that was like, you want me to F you through dance?
Yes.
I was like, is that what's happening in these streets? Is the girls just saying that at the parties? You want me to F you through dance?
I was like, wow, she was going crunk on him. Like,
Yeah.
just like really like breaking down.
She didn't even have them blare out her face. She was like, yep, I said that on national TV.
Right? She did not care. So, yeah, I was totally surprised. No, I wouldn't.
But yeah, I think his friends knew. I think they played it up for the camera. I think
They
they
did.
knew he was a virgin.
Yeah.
They were just like,
'Cause
what,
they told
man?
him, no. "Oh, you're halfway to the 40-year-old virgin." I was
Yeah.
like, "Really? No." he's
They would
not."
just like come up with some lines
Yeah,
to say.
that. That's a good one. Use that one. That's what the producer said.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, Michaela.
Oh.
Okay, now we have the virgins that are waiting, like Kyle and like Dominique, but she said she probably ain't gonna be waiting that long.
Bless her heart.
And then we have Michaela. So Michaela, let's show her a picture. She is ready to give it up.
Yes, she
Yeah,
is.
I was like, okay, but I want to give her some dating lessons, Michaela. So here's what you don't do. You don't invite somebody out for pizza and then probably pay for the pizza and then ask them if they have a girlfriend.
I know when she said that. When
was
she
like-
said that to him, when she asked that question,
And it
he
was
was
so
like,
awkward.
"Yes." I was like, "You idiot!"
Right, like where are your friends? They should have told you to ask that question before you paid for the pizza.
I
Like,
was like, "He cute, but he ain't that cute
That
for me to be
cute.
spending my coins on you,
Yes,
and
I
you
was-
ain't single."
And even though he did get the lunch special, we appreciate you getting the lunch special. I'm just mad that you didn't ask.
And he went. He was like, "I'm gonna
Yes.
get some free food.
Right.
I'm gonna take a to-go box and bring it home to my girlfriend." Thank you so much. She was hungry. She just texted me. And I told her you were so sweet. You bought both of us food. I was like, "Well, are you silly?" But she
Yes.
seems so thirsty.
She does.
I'm just like, girl, like you
Yeah.
are a female. There are dudes who are
Yeah.
throwing their penis at everybody. You really
Yes.
don't have to be that thirsty. You don't. You don't have to be
And that
chasing
is-
after
Yeah,
everybody.
she is thirsty. That's what it is.
Yes.
I think she needs some dating lessons, or she needs some more friends, because her friends are like really straying her wrong. Like they not helping her. Like
Did you hear the conversation in the car? She said, "Well, I heard that with sex, it's really bad the first, second, third, and fourth time. Like it's like awkward and it's not really good, but like after the fifth time, you really start enjoying it."
now that logic just makes no sense.
And they were like, "Yeah, that's pretty much right."
now do you really think that's true, Angel?
Well, you know what? I think because they're young, it probably is horrible. I mean, they seem young and dumb.
Okay.
So no telling what they tried the first
The
1,
first
2, 3,
time?
4 times. Because you ain't got to do a whole lot of tricks for sex to be good.
I know. I mean, I would think because I've been
don't
looking
have
at
to-
Kama Sutra, and I'm like,
She's like,
okay.
"Wow, all right." I mean, you really don't have to do.
Yeah.
If you are actually talking and communicating
Yes,
with
and
your
I-
partner, it
okay,
does
now,
not have to
yes.
be horrible.
Yes, and that's what I don't think people like really have the right conversations before you even have sex. Like I would think you would say, okay, have you been tested? Do you have HIV? Do you have chlamydia? Have you ever had crabs? Like these are questions that I think you should ask before you let
Oh,
anything
of course,
happen.
of course. Now that's a whole nother. That's just health issues. You
I
want to
know,
make
but
sure.
still, like,
but I'm talking about with the actual act of sex and
Yeah.
enjoying it. Like you can fix a problem real quickly. If somebody is hammering away and you don't like it, you can say, "Let's
Slow
not
down."
do
Yeah.
that."
Right,
you
right,
know.
right.
So I'm like, what are these girls doing?
I don't know, but I feel like they need help though. Like I want to help Michaela. Like let's get you some dating lessons. Like let's call Patty Stanger. I know that's a different
Oh,
network.
Jesus.
And let's
Never
see
the
if
millionaire
Yeah,
matchmaker.
I mean, maybe we could do like the the $10 an hour matchmaker. Like she
She
needs
don't
to
need
find.
if she just trying to get some
know
dangling, which is
she
what she
is,
said. She's
yeah.
like, "I just want to give up my virginity." I think she's just stringing us along for the show because
You think
I don't
so?
know, not nah, girl. I know females with full on beards that don't have a problem getting some dangling
Did you
if they
say
want
beards,
some.
Angel?
I'm
They have
talking
beards?
about the
Not
full
even just like the little couple
mutton
of hairs.
chops.
Oh, yeah.
No, I got the couple of hairs. That's just natural. I'm talking about the full on. You need to get that after 5 shadow. You need to get that
You
sister.
go like this, like
Yeah.
here you go.
That ain't
Go
got
ahead
no
and narrow it up.
problem
Right.
getting a man to show them some interest to get them in bed. So it's just like she even
She's
said
awkward though.
she
She's
even
very
said the
awkward.
guys that throw themselves at me, I don't really pay attention, and it's the guys I like. If they don't show me that they're interested, I don't really approach them. So I'm
But
like,
did you hear her description though? I was like, really, Michaela? She said Chuck Taylors, tattoos, and khakis. Like that's your.
you can
I
get that
want
from a
man.
homeless man.
Right,
Like
we
you can
could-
get that so easily.
I mean, she's in Oregon. I'm sure they still have.
Absolutely, she
Yeah.
shouldn't have to be trying that hard.
I was like, really? Those are your top 3.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's why she paying for pizza and not getting no dangling. I tell you what, if I was that like hard on to get something, if I get pizza, I'm gonna tell you what,
You
we
gonna be
getting
doing-
it. We are getting. You are giving me it. Not
all
tonight.
of it.
Today.
The pepperoni.
I'm going to let your food
The sausage,
digest,
yes.
and then we going to make this happen.
Yes, give it to me.
Yeah, she a little slow. She needs some
Yeah,
help.
we need to help Michaela. So call us, Michaela. We want to help you. If Patty is unavailable, Madison and
Patty
Angel.
ain't helping her.
Yeah, okay, we'll help you. I want to help you. My heart goes out to you. I want to make sure your first time is your best time. Okay, maybe not.
No, she didn't already had her first time.
Okay,
I'm sure. It didn't happen already.
Aired.
Yeah,
Okay,
she didn't have that first
She
time.
found somebody. Okay. So the next girl is Lisa. Now I really like Lisa.
Of course you did.
Of course, I was like, wow, that's me. Okay, so Lisa actually on the show, she's a virgin, of course, and she actually is getting married, and so after the honeymoon, she's asking these really interesting questions. Now, I like the conversation that they had with her pastor. Like, she was like, where does my leg go? And if I'm really tired, like, with the pastor, where does my leg go? And, like, if I'm really tired, like, what's the best position to get it over with quick? And I'm like, wow, these are really good questions.
I could never have asked my pastor that when I was getting, my pastor was 60-something years old.
No, that she wasn't asking the pastor. She was asking her fiance, Nick. She was asking Nick that question.
Oh, right, yeah, because he's already had lost his virginity.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if that's the person that you want to ask is your fiance, that's hilarious.
She was like, are you going to want to do it like 10 times? So these are questions. I'm going to be like, I need you to do it 10 times because we got time to make up for it. So that would be what I would say.
Well,
so,
yes, you were in a different place in life.
Yes. Can I get pregnant on the honeymoon is what I'm trying to do.
You're like, come on,
Yes.
get them swimmers to going.
Right.
I think she seemed so sweet. She did, even though it was so funny. My husband said something so mean.
What did he say?
Were watching the
wanna know.
night before the wedding, and she wore something that was so not attractive.
No, wait, she did look like she was pregnant already.
He said, how's she a virgin and she 4 months pregnant? I said, she just didn't wear the right thing. She ain't got on a Spanx.
Her girlfriend didn't tell her about Spanx. They didn't know.
I said, bless Lisa's heart, but her fiance didn't care. He said, I love all of that you got going underneath that dress, and I can't wait to get to it tomorrow. But she was just so sweet, very not. She seemed a little too naive for her age, because she's 23. She was a little like. I understand being a virgin in your 20s, but that doesn't mean that you should not be educated. And she seemed
okay.
like
Where is she? She is in
Florida.
Sarasota, Florida.
Yes. There's the internet in every place in the United States of America. Okay.
Okay, well, Angel, let's think about this.
Pornhub is free. She could have watched the video if she needed to.
On YouTube, they do have some porn, and you can do like sexual education.
Absolutely.
Google. Yeah, you could, but I feel like she is really like taking care of her dad, because that was like really emotional. Like her dad has been ill, and so that's like her hero.
I know.
So maybe that's kind of been her focus. And we didn't talk about that with Kyle too, like his dad. I think that was part of his thing. Like
right. I mean, but come on now. We didn't all had trials and tribulations. That is not what keeps us, unless I can see if the tribulation had something to do with sex.
Right.
Yes, but your daddy being sick, my mama's being sick too. But if I'm horny, I'm horny, and I'm going to take care of what I got to at home and come tend to my mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it just feels like, obviously it didn't stop her from getting married. So if that's the case, educate yourself a little bit. You are 23 years old.
Yeah.
23. There's some
agree.
things you still should not be giggling about.
Yeah, I know that, because that's the part that I thought was funny, because when the pastor said uncovered, they were like, he was like, you still find that funny? Uncovered?
Yes.
And I was like, wow, so I'm taking it they're probably going to have sex with the lights turned off.
I'm sure that would be awkward.
Yeah.
You're going to really put it there? Okay. Yeah, no. So that was the only thing about her that irritated me, is just I don't have any type of sympathy for chosen ignorance.
Yeah.
Especially as a woman, like I feel like you need to own your body.
I agree.
Own your sexuality, whether or not you're practicing
Or not.
Or not. You need to own that. You need to know your body, and if you're going to use your body in that way, you need to learn what you're doing.
Okay, then that brings up another point, because she's never masturbated. So I think that was part of it too. Like, I think being a Christian, like, there are different kinds of Christians.
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
obviously like the very traditional, like all her friends were virgins. Like,
Yeah.
she was that traditional kind of virgin. So I think sometimes when you feel like you have to stay in this little box of virginity, you kind of really don't step outside of the box.
And I'm not saying she needed to step out of it prior to engagement. But when you know what your goal is happening in 7 days, learn something is all I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm not saying you need to be in your room
Right.
just diddling yourself.
Right. You say diddling, Angel.
I'm trying to keep it as PG as possible.
I like diddling. That's cute.
But I
Like
do
doodle.
feel like, it's just, I don't know. There's a maturity that I feel like she is missing. And that, but you know what? I feel like becoming a wife and eventually I'm guessing she'll become a mother, that she'll end up maturing very quickly. And that stuff that she used to think was funny will just seem very silly and immature.
Yeah. Did you see, like, after she had sex, when I was like, wow, like, I saw a difference. Like, she wasn't as silly. She was like, well, I guess it'll get better. Like, she had, like, a kind of, like, maturity about her. I was like, oh, wow, is that how it happens? Like, you just, like, see things like, like
I'm not gonna put her name out there because she is a well-known actress. But one of my girlfriends, she got married. Her and her husband were both virgins.
Wow.
Yes, she was 27. He was 30.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Yeah. That's still good.
And she was just talking about. She was like, "Yeah, the first time I was really sore." She was like, "But it got better really quickly."
Quick. Oh, okay.
And she was like, "Yeah, and he's a different person." She was like, "I think."
Was she different? Like, did you notice anything different about her?
No, she seemed like she's always seemed like a mature person. So maybe there might have been a subtle difference and just like, I am woman, hear me roar type of thing. Right. But it's a completely different thing than what I was seeing with Lisa. Okay. Yeah. But so that's why I'm like, I know that the two can exist, to be a virgin and still be knowledgeable. Yeah. And still remain true to whatever your religious principles are. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So the thing that I thought was interesting, so I started to read, like, just kind of what people were saying about the show. So Fox News, Dr. Keith Abloh said, nothing is sacred, but now the network is willing to profit even from turning first-time sexual experiences into events that approximate prostitution. So he is comparing the show like to prostitution, which I think is interesting because I'm like, we see sex all the time on movies, on Instagram, on Twitter, on whatever. And so now that here's someone, even if she started with Teen Mom too, and I actually watched that show, I'm like, this is really interesting too, because I've never really watched MTV if the show hadn't been on the network. So I was like, to compare this to prostitution, it's like, that's a little far. I mean, I do think it's far, but I do get where he's going. I do get where he's what he's trying to say. Because nothing is sacred, but that reality TV knocks sacred out of the water a long time ago. I totally agree. There are people actually taking pregnancy tests with the camera in there, peeing in the toilet, peeing on the stick. So it's just like, people don't really have any type of personal bounds. You know what I'm saying? Personal space. Yeah. So I mean, this is actually mild. Like, I mean, if they start actually being in the room, right? Because you actually see Lisa and Nick like close the door. And I was even like, "Are you gonna tell them to get out? You unzipping in your wife's dress?" Right. Yeah. I guess. We saw what she looked like without Spanx now. Don't embarrass her like that. I wouldn't want my husband. Look, I know I got to wear Spanx. Keep it snatched together. But I mean, I feel like if that's the case, then most reality TV shows are prostitution. That's what I was gonna say. Like, what are you talking about? But the question he asked, he was like, "Would you cast your own son or daughter in a series that eavesdrops or has a decision to have sex for the first time?" That'll be up to my child. If he really wanted to share that with the world, well, and my son that would be his wedding when he was making that choice. When he was 27. We want sponsors for his wedding. Let's get some Coca-Cola. Yes, right. Yes, my baby is the first, what do you call him? The first sex symbol? Oh, the youngest sex symbol. Yes, because he's so adorable. Yes, he is. But, if that's really it's a different, I don't completely agree with the time and age that we're in, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's a different age and time. Yes. And I would rather, if this is going to be out there, I'd rather there be multiple point of views than one. Yeah. And that's, I totally agree. Like, I like that they're actually even opening the door to talk about virginity, because so many people don't want to talk about it. Like Kyle, even if you think he's straight or gay, I don't really know, but I feel like
he was a little nervous, because I think for guys it's totally different when you're talking about men who are virgins. Like there's this stereotype that men that are virgins are probably gay.
Right, and I don't think that's why I thought he was a virgin.
You didn't
Wasn't
think that?
not
Okay.
because he was a I mean, excuse me. That's not why I thought he was gay. It wasn't because
Yeah.
he was a virgin. It was because he's Kyle. Kyle himself. I thought if
Yeah.
I would have met him and we did not even talk about sex, I'd be like,
Where's your boo?
I would just, like a dog that hears something weird. I would just cock my head to the side like, oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so there is a different stigma on boys. And I think if he was cuter, nobody would question. I think fine men, if they choose to be virgins, you're like, you are choosing for a reason. Because I know
for me.
there is panties and drawers being thrown your way
That would be
every
me.
single day. Throwing panties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thongs, preferably. So now Slate.com, Willa Paskin, she said Lisa and Luke have support systems helping them think about sex and clarifying black and white terms. It's not something you do until marriage. But she said to keep kids from having sex before marriage, Lisa and Luke's village are up to the job. So she's almost saying that it takes a village to remain a virgin. When you talk about Dominique, like she's not really. I don't think
that's
supportive.
her. Well, it depends on what the village's goal is. Not everybody's village is for you to wait until marriage.
That's true.
So
I totally agree.
to say that the only two people whose village is up to the task are Lisa and
Luke. We haven't seen him
Yeah,
yet.
we haven't seen Luke,
Yeah.
but I know he's one of the Christian guys. Is a very, and even though I'm a Christian and that was my goal, did not make it to marriage.
But it's okay, Angel.
I'm okay. Like
Yeah.
it happened. I was like,
Yeah.
oh well,
Yeah.
can't take that back.
Okay.
But to say that the other people didn't have a village or support system is to say that everybody has the exact same moral values or outlook
I
on
gotcha.
sex.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that within my own close circle, their view is not the same. Like, I would love, oh my goodness, if my poor little 4-year-old son, I'm already thinking about it, if he waited until marriage to have
To make you
sex,
cry.
I would just be elated just because I know he saved himself so many other things that he wouldn't have to deal with,
Yes.
that he would have to deal
Yes.
with by having sex
Yeah.
before marriage. Not to say he still won't deal with some things, but
Yeah.
but I know friends that are just like, no, they, whenever they're ready and mature enough, I'm like, the hell,
They're
no.
never- yeah. No, I totally agree. But I definitely think, like, if you stay focused on other things, like for me, it was dance, it was ballet, it was reading books. So, and then I see, like, now, later in life, after college, it was working out. So I always had something kind of to take the place of a man.
I'm running away
I'm
from
about
you.
to get a Pomeranian, so. I don't know if that's going to really take place, but, it's going to be a good
That
substitution.
made me choke
for
on
now.
my spit.
Okay, so, and then, let's see. I think that's it.
No,
That's
we had
kinda-
one more.
We had one
Keaton
more. Oh,
Griffin.
yeah, Kadeen Griffin.
Yeah, however you say that.
Yeah, Kadeen. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. So she said, if ever there was a show to make you feel normal for being a virgin, to laugh with you instead of at you, to make you think about reasons and open dialogue for how and why those reasons are valid, Virgin Territory might just be it. So she is in full support, and I'm assuming she's probably a virgin.
No, she probably did it. I'm like, no, she writing online. She done done it.
Right, she done did it.
I mean, there aren't. Are there any other virgin shows on right now?
You know what? There was a show, and this is why I thought this show was really interesting. It was called The Virgin Diaries.
That thing got canceled.
Yeah, and I don't know if it got canceled. I know they were
Is it
casting.
still there?
I know you're right.
It got canceled. Because people are like, is a cherry going to get popped sometime
Right,
in
right,
here?
right,
And if it
right.
ain't happening, then turn it off.
Yeah, this is true. So I think the issue with that show was it was like the very stereotypical, like, hi, my name is Madison and I'm a virgin. It was like that kind of like, I'm a virgin.
That's how
And
they
it's
talk.
like,
I'm a virgin.
yeah, I'm a virgin. And then you would be like, okay, I see. I believe that. Like, it's not hard to believe. And so that was Virgin Diary. So when I watched the show and then they showed two virgins, they never kissed before, and their first kiss was at the altar, it was the most painfully awkward thing you could ever imagine. It was like, they were like kissing like that, and I was like, I'm confused.
This is not good. Nobody wants to see
Nobody
this.
wants to see it. It was just like it was like a train wreck. So, but people sometimes like watching train wrecks. Like
You're right.
Yeah.
They do like watching train wrecks. I think the only thing with what I do like, well, no, it's very confusing with a virginity show. Unless they're about to be priests, we know eventually this train is coming to a close.
This is true.
And either we
Yeah.
want to see the train reach the station, or we're like, why are we still caring about you?
Right,
Why are we
right.
still talking about you
Right.
in the fact that you're not having sex? We
Yeah,
get it.
right.
You're not doing it. Okay,
Right.
what else is happening in your dang on life?
right.
So I think that's what makes a show just solely about virgins hard to do unless you find some other conflict in their life to focus on. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like that's what they're trying to do. Like with Kyle, it was his dad that passed away from leukemia. So while his friends were, having dates and having sex, and he was concerned about spending the last few minutes with his dad. Or,
Right, but like his dad is dead now. Like,
I
so what are we? I'm not trying to play that down, but like,
Yeah.
it's not like his father is still struggling
I
with
got you.
leukemia. That is the
that's a-
past.
I know. but
So
that's
what is his
hard.
going to be? Oh, of course. I'm
Yeah.
not. But what's going to be his journey now? Like,
I
are we
got
just
you.
going to keep talking about the memory of his father, or what
Yeah.
are we going to do? Where with Lisa, well, but she's no longer a virgin, so her
She's
story's
off
over.
the show, yeah.
But at least with her, we can still see the relationship she has with her dad
Right.
and her dad being sick. So it's
Right.
just like, what else can we show
I
of
got you.
Kyle because his father is now deceased? Are we going to see a relationship with your mom? Like,
And they do show that. I think the next episode or the next season, not episode 2, they show him and his mom is like, "Oh, I have a 20-year-old virgin," or whatever. Like as if she didn't know. Like, why would you not know that your son is a virgin?
maybe she just thought that he was getting it in somewhere else. I don't know.
At the gym, maybe
Yeah,
in the shower room. I
Told
think
you,
that
see?
happens. Yeah, at some gyms, people
Some-
do it in the shower.
she probably thought her son
Yeah.
was not straight. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
I
She was
mean-
just like, all right.
Yeah. So I pulled up like some interesting statistics about teens and sex, since this show is about teenagers and sex
Young adults
and not
and sex.
having sex. And so if we could pull those up, I thought it was interesting because part of it is they kind of say that I think more girls have sex at a younger age. I can't really see. It says
Look at your thing. You can't-
63%. No, I didn't put that. So I had
Oh.
I had different stats, but pretty much the things that I did research on, it says 2 out of 3 teens who had sex wish they waited.
I'd agree with that. With my
You
own
agree with
life,
that?
I
Okay.
wish I would have waited. Oh well,
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Okay, you like next, moving on.
Yeah.
I love my husband.
Right, can't cry over spoiled milk.
Right, it's over. And then it said on average, young people have sex for the first time at about age 17.
That sounds.
I was like, wow, like at 17, what was I doing?
well, you gotta understand. It was like if we think about like biblical days back when Jesus and them was roaming the
Mary
land.
was probably 15.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
God knew that she wasn't gonna make it to 17. She would not have been a virgin. She'd been popped off a couple of babies.
Especially if Joseph was fine.
He said, "Let me
Yeah.
get her now because
Yes.
this chick is not gonna make it."
Yeah.
So today, in today's society, because people put off marriage for so much longer,
I agree.
it's hard. I mean, it's a different standard,
Yeah.
and that's when you're a teenager. That's when your hormones are at their worst.
Really? I don't even, you know what? I think I was so, and maybe it's because growing up in Texas, like it's such the Bible Belt. Because I'm like, oh my God, I have on pants in church. And no, you're going to hell. So it was like,
I mean, I was part of the Bible Belt, but my friends were undercover hoes.
my
yes.
friends were virgins, Angel.
Yeah, my friends said they were.
But they didn't. They
I
was
was in a
lying.
singing group called Virtuous. It was like, where is the virtue?
You were the only one. They're like, Angel, that's her. She's an angel. Oh, yeah.
They were like, look, here, now, there's a tingling.
Okay, now wait,
in
did
my
you
legs.
think it was like, because I heard some people say, like, if you have oral sex, it's not quite
No,
sex.
they were doing it.
They were doing it like full blown, getting it
Yes,
in.
and a sucking and all that other stuff
Really?
too. Because there is sometimes in the Christian church this thing of if we just scream hellfire and damnation, you will stop doing it. And it's just like, well, that didn't feel like hellfire and
Right,
damnation.
that felt like heaven. Yes.
felt like fire and desire, but not hellfire. So it's like this combination of, being honest and truthful. Why would
Yeah.
you, I mean, if sex is wonderful, don't sit there and try to lie, because if they find out it is, they just going to keep doing it and not
And
tell
doing
you.
it and doing it. Yeah.
So yeah, I felt like a lot of my friends were lying, and they
Wow.
were, and
Okay.
they were doing it, and I mean, it is what it is. What it is. So yeah, by 17, yeah, I can definitely see that
can see
majority. I feel like that's when your hormones are just like,
That's interesting because I'm trying to think. When I was 17, I was like, not too long ago.
right. It was like, so yeah, it's like,
Yeah, it's like a couple of years ago. Yeah. Okay, but I remember so the first time somebody told me I was sexy, I was like 14.
oh well.
Right, I don't know what I was doing. It was the dancer in me. I was in touch with my body. And so
right.
I remember I was like, let me go Google that. I don't Google. We looked it up in the dictionary.
You had to look up what sexy was at 14?
Yes, because I'm like, what does that mean? Because I was like offended. I was like, is he trying to say that I am having sex?
Oh my God.
That's how prude I was. I was mad.
Oh,
I
my
was like,
goodness.
no, I was mad at him. I didn't even know him.
14, you had to look up what sexy was. That
Yes.
is amazing.
I needed to know. I was insulted. I was like, this man thinks I'm having sex, and I'm too young.
I could see you saying that at 10, but at 14, I would think you would already
I was
know.
reading Little House on the Prairie books, Angel.
I mean, I
wanted to
was-
be Laura Ingalls.
Granted, I
That's
was
who
reading
wanted
The
to be.
Babysitter Club, but I knew what sexy was. Yes, I definitely knew what sexy was. I definitely, by that time, I did. That's crazy to me. Yeah, you were just.
I was a
oh.
late bloomer. I think I had a boyfriend when I was like 12, and then he walked me to school and took my violin and my ballet bag. And then I looked at his shoes and I was like, ew, we're quitting. I broke up with him because I didn't like his shoes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say by 14, my nieces definitely knew what in the world sexy was. There ain't no way they didn't know. Well, hell, there were girls at their school getting pregnant in middle school.
Yeah.
Giving blowjobs underneath the stairwell.
Shut up.
Yes,
Yeah, no, I know my little
hoes.
cousin. She was giving blowjobs at 12. I'm
Put
sorry.
her business out there.
I mean, but nobody knows because I have
My
tons
little
of
cousin,
cousins.
Shamika Chase, she was, I'm telling you what, she
right,
good.
right.
She offered
Right.
classes. But no, you know what I think the big difference also is that there's even though kids are, having sex as teenagers, like I feel like they were in back in the past, I feel like the responsibility level is different. Back in the
you.
day, if you were a teenager, you were working.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
were an actual help to the house. So there
That's
was a
true.
maturity level that came with it. Where now, as a teenager, some teenagers that have never had their first job, they're still very dependent
That's
upon
true,
their
on their
parents.
parents, yeah.
So there's a maturity level that they don't have, which really makes having sex too early just like a bad choice, because
gotcha.
there's still you're not going through the life choices and decisions that your parents probably had to go through when they were 15, 16
That's
years
true.
old.
Completely different. So let's go real quick onto the famous virgin. So when we're talking about, I like to do like the top sexy virgins. Because, okay, so we have Lolo Jones, and she's a Leo. Whoop, whoop for the Leos.
What Lolo do
Lolo,
other than be naked?
right. So this is for the ESPN body issue, but she actually ran track
She's
and the
athlete, okay.
Olympics, and I think a lot of people were a little upset with her because she was getting more press than the people who were actually running. They were like, why is she on Jay Leno? I'm confused. But she was also, I guess, Tim Tebow, who's also one of our virgins. We could pull him up with his little cute self. Hey,
Oh, we didn't skip some folk though.
oh, we gonna go back to them.
No.
We gonna go back because they were
he's
they were
good.
kind of rumored to date. Yeah, but he's a little cutie. So he's like a professional football player, and I don't know if he's still playing, but I still love him. And whenever he does a touchdown, he'll give props to Jesus.
Give props to Jesus.
For the touchdown. Mhm. So we like Tim Tebow. And I thought it was interesting because now I think Lolo is supposed to be dating Russell Wilson, who is the quarterback. We don't have a picture of him, but you could go see him because he just won the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah, so at the ESPYs, that picture that we put up was actually from the ESPN ESPY magazine body issue.
Okay.
So everybody's naked pretty much, which I thought it was interesting. I'm like, could I pose naked?
Yeah, you could. You better
think?
show off that body.
No, I remember when I did like something, they were like, can you take your shirt off? And I was like, oh.
You remember the pictures you took where you weren't covering your chest and your nipples was out? You didn't know your arms were up? You don't
No, but I was like, it was
Let's
when I
get back
first
on
moved here.
topic.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's not about me. It's not about me. Okay, so let's go to the next sexy virgin, Adriana Lima. she is like super incredibly
But she's no
beautiful.
longer a virgin,
Okay,
correct?
but
I'm just
yes,
making sure she's
yes,
not.
I know, right? But she's like super sexy.
She's gorgeous. Ain't no
Yeah.
way if I look like that, I'd been and gave it up to the highest bidder.
Right.
I'd be
Like,
so
how
rich
much
by
money
now.
you make, right.
I'd be like, who got the money?
Yes,
Look at me.
right,
You want this?
Right. You a billionaire? Yes. Call
Yes.
me.
Call me. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. You don't give up those goods when you look like that for
Right.
nobody who ain't got
Right.
more than 10 digits.
I think her husband. So she did get married. She has 2 kids, so she obviously
And
had
she looked
sex
like
at
that.
least twice.
At least that's all it
2
took.
times, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's now divorced.
Oh, dang it.
I know, and I wonder, I'm like, was it because she was a virgin? Like, did she not know how to have successful relationships? Like, I don't know. I want to ask you that.
No telling.
Adriana.
I don't no
know.
telling. But at
Okay.
least her body came back together.
Yes, it's snatched back.
Because
Yeah.
I'd be mad. You didn't made me pregnant with 2 kids and ripped apart
2.
my body. You're not leaving me.
Right.
You stuck with this. Stretched me out and made that up.
And hopefully she doesn't have stretch marks. Okay, so she could still do Victoria's Secret runways.
She's gorgeous,
So
yeah.
yeah, this is like, I think she's like, even if she's not a virgin, she's like the poster child for like one of the sexiest virgins in the world. Like, she's pretty super sexy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so the last one that we're going to show is Miss Carrie Underwood.
And she's still a virgin?
She's married now.
Oh, but all
Yeah.
these
No,
non-virgins.
but she waited till she got married, though.
She's so cute.
Yeah, and she is from Oklahoma.
That's the Bible Belt, honey.
That's the Bible Belt,
Yes,
and I
it
went to
is.
school in Oklahoma. But I thought it was interesting that she's married to I want to say he's an NHL player, hockey player.
Okay.
But I think they're
oh, yeah, they are.
yeah, and I'm supposedly I don't know if they're having issues because I think she doesn't want to have kids just yet, and she still wants to focus on her career.
Yeah,
So
she's like, you're not about to bring down my value on the market. The
do you
kids
think that?
Yeah, well, I mean, she might not have a snatchback body. You don't know until
She's
you
a
have.
vegetarian. She should.
Who cares?
Okay.
A baby don't care that you a vegetarian when it stretches you out. It's not like, oh, mommy only eats celery. Let me be small.
But celery has a lot of water in it.
Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
she's just like, I'm not chancing that this stuff, and I have this baby, and then I got a muffin top over my leather pants. Trying to see
The muffin top, Angel.
She gonna look like Lisa did, 4 months pregnant, and not have no baby. That's all.
Okay, Lisa, we're gonna send you some Spanx.
I got some if you need some, girl. I understand
we
the struggle.
We will help you out with the Spanx. So, yeah, so this is Virgin Territory, and I hope you enjoyed our show, and make sure that you watch us and listen to us on
Yes,
iTunes.
absolutely.
And all of that good stuff.
You
And
gotta subscribe on iTunes,
subscribe.
rate, share.
Yes. AfterBuzz TV. If you have any questions that you want us to get to any of the cast members, and Spanx, if you want to send Lisa some Spanx.
You can just send them to me. Lord,
Yes.
I need them.
Yeah, me too. Send them to me
Yeah, right.
for my friends. Yeah, I
Yes.
could get.
And they can watch this on YouTube too. They want
Yeah.
to see our lovely faces.
Yeah, AfterBuzz TV. Yeah, and definitely watch us. And so I'm your host, Madison Chase, and you could find me on social media at Madison Chase Fitness. That's my website, MadisonChaseFitness.com, and a Madison Chase Fit on Pinterest, on YouTube, on Instagram,
Everywhere.
on Tumblr, everywhere. Madison Chase Fit.
And you can find me, Angel Laketa Moore, on Twitter at Angel the Actress, and my YouTube channel, which is That Chick Angel TV. And you can see me on TV because I be working.
You be working. So thank you for joining us for AfterBuzz TV for MTV Virgin Territory. Woo.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.